It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is showtime, the Geno Jones Showtime. Bam, bam, bam. Hey, I'm coming to you live Monday through Friday, normal days, and start time 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast, out in Los Angeles, or up in the Bay Area, or Portland, Oregon, with my firstborn, Lauren, a.k.a. Boogie, and my son-in-law. They got the city is covered in ice. I digress. Please subscribe, share, screen grab, like, and binge watch all my back episodes. Do that. Shout out to everybody watching me live right now. I appreciate it. Okay, the weekend is almost here. I love these short work weeks. I do. So let me start off the show with some great news. So shout out to Spellman College, one of our many great HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. As a matter of fact, I think U.S. News and World Report rated Spellman College the #1 HBCUs. Listen, I think they all are great, so I'm not going to rate them. But speaking of great, so Spellman College got a great donation. As a matter of fact, one of the board members, the Spellman College board member, a woman named Rhonda Stryker. So she is, her and her husband are billionaires. She's made her money in medical equipment. He's like a finance guy, the whole venture capital, just a Wall Street dude, made his millions, in finance. His name is William Johnson. So today, they gave Spellman College a $100 million, with an M, $100 million gift to Spellman College. That is the largest single donation ever to any HBCU. So congratulations to Spellman College. Congratulations to all the young ladies who go there, all the young ladies who will be going there. That is great news. So 75 million of the 100 million is going to go for scholarships, and 25 million, and this is very important, 25 million is going to improve student housing. I can hear incoming freshmen and those who will be incoming freshmen in the years to come. Yay! Clapping, saying yes. And some of the Spellman alumni, ladies are probably saying, where the hell were y'all at when I was up in these raggedy ass dorms? Where was that $25 million? So, well, it's there now. Once again, congratulations to Spellman College. That is a huge donation. That's an incredible gift. That's one of the largest gifts any college anywhere in America has gotten. So that is huge. So once again, shout out to Rhonda Stryker and her husband, William Johnson, billionaires. That's what you do. Because people talk about, let me go here. There's so much talk about, Christianity here in America because, for the most part, the majority of Americans who are religious, majority of them, but that majority is shrinking. Say they're Christians, but a lot of y'all are hypocrites, really are. Because underneath this umbrella of Christianity, of course, you've got Catholicism, and then you've got all the different denominations of Christianity, Baptist and Apostolic and AME, African Methodist, Episcopal, and you got Protestants and Lutherans, and then you've got white Christians, and then you got white Christian nationalists, and then you got Southern white Christian nationalists, and you even have some black evangelicals. But for the most part, the ones that is not brainwashed with the MAGA cult, the Black Christian Church has always been rooted historically in justice, in freedom, all the way back when slavery existed. A significant number of the abolitionists were Christian. So you had a sector or sect of Christians who were straight abolitionists. Then you had the Christians who used Christianity to justify and sanction slavery, who actually burned crosses. The Ku Klux Klan, a burning cross is their symbol. Now, how much of a heretic must you be? A blasphemous hypocrisy. So, but you know what's amazing? Because I had this conversation actually with Allie, with my youngest daughter. You get people proselytized and talking about, oh, I'm such a great Christian and I go to Bible study every Wednesday and I go to church every Sunday. And a significant number of those people, they keep more shit going. The biggest sinners and the people that keep the most drama and ish going, started and keep it going, sit in churches every Sunday and in Bible study every Wednesday night. And that's not all. I'm not even saying most, but a significant number. And then you wonder why the American youth in large numbers are just turning away from the church, because they see the hypocrisy. They see white Christians who embrace racism and misogyny and sexism and homophobia, anti-Islamic or Islamophobia, hate of the immigrant. Now, I'm not a Bible scholar. I didn't go to a theology school. I'm not a theologian. I don't even really go to church on a regular basis. But I thank God every day that I sign off of my TV and my radio show. But I digress, because this conversation is not about me. But the point I want to make is, when people see the hypocrisy and people who claim that they are Christians and, they believe in their Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but what they say they believe and then how they live, it don't line up with the teachings and the way Jesus lived his life. Now, you don't have to take my word for it, but I do remember when the actual words of Jesus in the Bible, like, with the red letters, when he talked about loving and helping the orphan, the widow, the sick, and the poor, and really centering and helping those poor, sick, widowed, and orphan. They call agape love, just unconditional love. Boy, I sure, a significant number of these white Christians who now call themselves nationalists, that believe that, America's got to be a white Christian nation and we're nationalists, and only white Christians, white Southern evangelical Christian nationalists should be in control, should have power and domain over the government, even though when this country was founded, basically it was founded because the folks that founded, they wanted religious freedom. They didn't want to deal with that in Europe, so they left Europe so they could have the right and the freedom to worship or to not worship. So, why am I talking about this? Why am I bringing this up? I got a shout out to Joy Reid. So Joy Reid is on her show that comes on weeknights right after my show ends. She's talked about the hypocrisy and how there's a significant number of basically Southern white Christian evangelicals that have embraced a man who was the most anti-Christ-like, racist, hate-mongering, misogynistic, sexist, found guilty by a judge in a courtroom of rape, dealing with a sexual assault case right now in New York City with a writer, a woman named E. Jean Carroll, who she said assaulted her in a department store in a dressing room way back in the earlier, I think, mid-90s. So how can you claim, and then some people, they actually call him like their white Jesus or their orange Jesus. Now, I hate to be the one to break this news to my white Southern Christian evangelicals, especially my white Christian nationalists, Southern evangelicals. But, there's that little passage in the Bible that said Jesus had feet like clay, the color, I'm paraphrasing, feet like clay, the color of clay, hair like wool. So reconcile that, with your blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus. But the Bible said he had feet like clay and hair like wool, paraphrasing. So Joy Reid she's receiving some criticism, some heat. Some of these, white Christian nationalists who are in their feelings because Joy Reid has called their hypocrisy and their hatred out. And so they calling her, oh, she should apologize and she should be fired. So let me explain to you what gaslighting is. An example. When someone is openly racist and a person like you or me calls out that racism, the racist will turn around and say, oh no, you're racist. You're always trying to divide people. Because I speak the truth and I'm calling out racism when I see it. And for those who engage in racism but still claim to be Christians, to walk in to believe in the tenets of Jesus Christ and the tenets of Christianity, and in nobody's Bible. I ain't never saw where Jesus talked about it was cool to hate people because of their race or ethnicity, or to hate them because of their sexual orientation, or because they believed they worshiped a different God. Really? Come on now. Are we doing that? That's what's called gaslighting. I call you out for the wrong that you're doing, and then you try to remix it, flip it, slap it up, flip it, rub it down, and accuse me of what you are engaging in. Kids call it gaslighting. But we don't allow no gaslighting here. The only gaslighting I would do if we still had a gas stove when I was a little kid and you turn that pilot on or you turn that eye on, and if the pilot, it was like a little pilot light. You open the gas stove and it had like a little blue flame, and if that pilot light went out, you would start smelling gas in the house. Then you had to get some matches or something or a lighter and relight that pilot light so gas wouldn't be seeking all throughout the house. I digress because I'm having a flashback, a childhood flashback. But the point that I'm saying is America's got to really own up and face its original sin, which was the genocide of Native Americans, people who were already here, that those who colonized and came over to America from Europe, came over, the indigenous Native Americans basically helped save your life. That's how the whole concept of Thanksgiving, when these Europeans came and they were starving to death in the wintertime because they didn't know how to grow food and everything, it was the Native Americans that gave them a feast. And how did those Europeans show the Native American indigenous people their gratitude? By engaging in genocide, murdering them, kicking them off their land, putting them on reservations, giving them blankets with smallpox. Oh, that's your thank you. There's your thank you. We're going to kill you and give you disease and take your land and then put you on a little small patch of land and then call it a reservation and confine you to that area. And then not to mention the whole transatlantic chattel slavery industry, where you took millions of people against their will from the continent of West Africa to work to generate wealth, billions of dollars over the course of years, so a small handful of people could have power and wealth. Because the majority of Europeans that came over here, they didn't own slaves because they didn't have money. A significant number of Europeans came here because they were trying to escape some form of hatred or oppression. And then they come here and do the same thing. The hypocrisy in it all. So people will call you out when you call out hatred, misogyny, sexism, Islamophobia, anti-immigrant hate, transphobia, hatred and bigotry in any form. When you call that out, and the people who are the ones that engage in the racism and the sexism, misogyny, and the other hatred and bigotry and all of its other forms, and they want to call you. You're the one. You're the racist. They should fire you because you're always talking about race. Why is everything about race? Because unfortunately, in America, this made-up construct, this made-up idea, construction system of race that was created, Europeans before the 1600s and called themselves white. They didn't. Some of the history books you want to ban, you might learn that if you read them. So here we have a nation, you have people who want to ban books and deny history and not allow black history to be taught because we don't want white children to feel bad. You don't want them to know their full truth. And what do you mean you don't want them to feel bad? We don't want them to hate themselves. What makes you think they will hate themselves? They may look at some of their grandparents and great-grandparents like, really, why did y'all do that? You don't want to answer those questions. You don't want to look bad. So you project it on the kids and grandkids. But the thing is, these kids, you can try to ban all the books you want. But you ain't banning these iPhones and these Samsung Galaxies. All the books that you could ever try to ban, they can find them on their phone in about 2 seconds. So I just want to shout out to Joy Reid. Joy, do your thing. People who engage in hatred and fear-mongering and bigotry and misogyny and sexism, they want to continue to do it because, let me tell you, hatred, sexism, misogyny, hatred and fear in all of its forms is big business. All the gun manufacturers, they make billions of dollars selling fear. You got to worry about the other. These black folks may come from you. They may come for you. God, they may come for your woman. You don't want those animalistic black males, endowed like an animal or a horse. Oh my God, they'll come and they'll ravage your women. So you need weapons to protect yourself. The angry mob, Black Lives Matter, they'll come for you. And they peddle that racism and that hatred and fear. And they sell these assault-style weapons. And innocent children in schools in Texas. 19 babies in a school in South Texas get murdered. Or 9 innocent African Americans or 10 in a grocery store in Buffalo by some young racist goes in there and murders them. I could go on and on with that, but since I kind of got to talking about religion, I just wanted to say, we really need to check ourselves, be very careful. Because if you're around somebody that's always talking about, I'm such a good Christian, and Lord, I'm holier than thou, and and judgmental, and always telling you how you should live and condemning your sins, They quick to point out your sins, but they never point out their sins. And as my grandmother said and taught me, and my mother says even to this day, two things. God didn't die and leave you in charge. He didn't leave you in charge. He didn't leave me in charge. And you nor I have a heaven or hell to put anybody in. So be very careful when you start judging other folks. I'm just saying, for how they're living. How are you living? Are you promoting hatred and evil, and trying to control people's lives, trying to control women's lives and tell them what they can and can't do with their body, trying to deny and whitewash and erase the contributions that black Americans have made to this country, or Native Americans, or Hispanic Americans, or the indigenous people here of this land. So I had to go down that rabbit hole and call that out. So let me make a hard pivot here. I was telling you yesterday about this is going to be a Michael Jackson biopic. The brother Antoine Fuqua that did all the Equalizer movies with Denzel Washington. He did Training Day. So he's doing this Michael Jackson MJ biopic. There's a date that's going to be released. It's going to be released on April 18th in 2025, and it's going to be starring one of Michael Jackson's nephews. Actually, one of Jermaine Jackson's sons, Jafar Jackson, who looks just like his daddy and his uncle Michael. Because, they all look alike. Boy, Joe Jackson, Catherine, boy, they got some strong DNA, because they all look a whole lot alike. No mistaking. And Jafar looks like a cross between Michael and Jermaine. Even though they look a lot alike. They're not twins, but they damn near could be twins, especially when they were younger. So there's your date. The MJ Michael Jackson biopic, produced, directed by my man Antoine Fuqua, Antoine Fuqua, who directed Training Day and Equalizer, the Equalizer 1, 2, and 3, starring my man Denzel Washington. Oh, I finally got to see Equalizer 3. I love it. It is fantastic. It is great. So you want to check that out. Now, boy, the NFL is really trying to get in good. The NFL is really trying to get back in good with black folks. Because first of all, they were wrong. They still whiteballed Colin Kaepernick, former quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, because he took a knee to protest police brutality and the murder of unarmed black men, women, and children. And he learned, and it was recommended to Colin Kaepernick, because Colin Kaepernick initially would just sit on the bench when the national anthem was on. And apparently an ex-military man who was a San Francisco 49er fan actually suggested Colin Kaepernick take a knee, because in the military, we take a knee to honor the fallen. And that's where Colin Kaepernick got the idea to take a knee. And then all of a sudden, he hated the military, even though he got the idea from a military man. So, they'll try to, like I said, those who gaslight, those who engage in racism and bigotry and sexism and misogyny, they will always accuse you of that. They'll deflect. They'll project their hatred. They'll project it on you and say, you are the one that's racist and sexist and misogynistic. So anyway, so the NFL is really trying to get back in good with black folks. You hired Jay-Z to help them book entertainment. 1 year they had Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Mary J. Blige and Kendrick Lamar and 50 and Eminem do the halftime show. And then they have Rihanna do the halftime show. Well, this year, of course, Usher is going to be the halftime Super Bowl performer. Now, the day before the Super Bowl, they have this show called it's called the Super Bowl Soulful Celebration. They're like the 25th anniversary. So it started off like a gospel concert, but now it's just a soulful celebration. Earth, Wind, and Fire. See, you got Kirk Franklin and Mary Mary. They're going to air it on CBS on February 10th, which is the day before the Super Bowl. That's Saturday, February 10th. The game out in Vegas is going to be on February 11th. And right before the national anthem, R&B star, and she played Billie Holiday. The latest movie that came out about Billie Holiday, Andra Day played and did a great job. Should have gotten an Academy Award for that. She played Billie Holiday. She's going to be singing the Black National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. I could go on and on and on and on. Do you know? Lift every voice and sing the Black National Anthem. And of course, you know, oh my God, you can imagine, folks. Yes, some of those same white Christian nationalists are saying, well, why do they have to sing the Black National Anthem? Why do we need to hear that? That's just going to make things too long. I want to see the game. Stick to sports. All of these racist tropes. Now, I'm not saying that every Southern white evangelical is a racist. Not at all. Not at all. I'm not saying every, but I am saying this. If you are a racist, if you are a white racist and claim to be a Christian, there's a pretty damn good chance that you might be a Southern white Christian evangelical. Pretty good chance. If you're racist and you probably praying to that God. I don't know what God that is. The God of white Christian nationalism and racism. Don't know. Y'all got a different Bible, I guess. Y'all done really remixed it a couple times. So, I digress. So all that's going to be happening on February 11th, Super Bowl Sunday. Of course, Usher is going to be performing the Super Bowl halftime show. And I hear the rehearsals it's going to be spectacular. It's going to be a show 30 years in the making. Not my words. That's what Usher is telling everybody. And that same day, February 11th, Usher has a new album coming out. And he's going to drop that. So it's going to be crazy. Speaking of music, shout out happy birthday to Estelle, British singer. She's a rapper too and an actress. So her biggest hit here in America was American Boy with Kanye before he lost his damn mind. Estelle is 44 today. The actor Jesse L. Martin. So if you are a big fan of Law and Order, you've seen the brother. By the way, he's got a brand new show. He's the lead actor, and it's called The Irrational. Jesse L. Martin is double nickel today. Double nickel 55. Happy 55th birthday to Jesse L. Martin. Former mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, 54 today. Happy birthday to Keisha Lance, former mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms. R&B, so she's an R&B legend and an icon. She was in an R&B group called Renee and Angela. She is not just an R&B singer and R&B legend, but she is a hell of a songwriter and a hell of a producer. So she produced all the hits for Renee and Angela, like Your Smile, I'll Be Good, the original version of My First Love, I Love You More, I Love You More, More Than Before. And then she also produced for the Isley Brothers, including he became her husband, now her ex-husband, Ronald Isley, back in the, the 90s, Smooth Sailing. Beats by Angela Winbush. Happy 69th birthday to Angela Winbush. So, Estelle, Keisha Lance Bottoms, Jesse L. Martin, and Angela Winbush, happy birthday. Shout out to everybody watching me live. Hey, when you're watching me live, say hi in my chat room. If you got a question or a comment, you can post it live, and I'll read it live. I'll say hi to you, give you a shout out. Shout out to my number one fan, my mother. always watching the show. I want to thank everybody for watching. Listen, thank you for letting me be a part of your life, okay? As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you and God most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, unless I tell you otherwise. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out in Portland, Oregon, or down in the city of Angels, Los Angeles. Subscribe, share, copy and paste the link, tag, screen grab, create a viral moment, put it up on TikTok, on Snapchat, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads. You can even put it up on that racist ass X, formerly known as Twitter. Subscribe, share, screen grab, like, and binge watch all my back episodes. So if you came into this episode halfway through, hey, now's the time. You can get ready to go back and binge watch this show in its entirety, and then binge watch all my shows from this week. They have been fire. Every episode, really, every episode is fire. But this week they have been fire. All right, everybody, I love you. I will see you live. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Please, if you are in a city or town, because we got this extremely dangerously cold weather all across America, please dress warm, stay warm, make sure your car is full of gas, fill up your gas tank. You don't want your gas line and fuel line to freeze. And if you're out in this weather, in a blizzard, stay your ass home. It's not worth dying for. Whatever it is, or whoever it is, it is not worth losing your life. All right, we'll see you. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show, the CEO of Designer Cuts here in the Charleston, South Carolina Metro. Check him out and his work on Instagram. Kel Be Cutting Up. KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. I like to call her the Drip Director. Check her and her collection. Yes, she's a fashion designer, so check her and her work, and a supermodel, all in one. On Instagram, lx.n, like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi, underscores, that little dash at the bottom. lx.ncl underscore. And shout out to Mr. Bruce Gage, also wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. This shirt and the suede t-shirt underneath is part of the Mario Uomo collection. You can check him and his collection out on Instagram. Miglio D Mario Uomo. It's an Italian name, so it's MIGLIODMARIOUOMO. MIGLIODIMARIOU. Uomo in Latin, Italian is UOMO, but it's got the Uomo sound. All right, everybody, we'll see you live Friday, 6:30 p.m. Thank you for watching me live. Everybody that's watching me live, and if you're not watching me live, but you are watching, thank you for watching too. We'll see you then.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.